Hello everyone, this is the Mining Geologist and I am back again with another very exciting and very informative tutorial. This tutorial is going to be the third video in the AI series in which I showed you how you can use the latest AI tools and apply them to our industry. And you can apply them in geoscience in general. So the first video was about ChatGPT and how you can use that as a GIS tool. And if you guys remember, in the end of that video, I mentioned some of the disadvantages of ChatGPT, which is sharing your data with OpenAI. Because if you use ChatGPT, you're basically telling OpenAI, hey, OpenAI, you're free to use whatever I send you. And that's a big problem in our industry. So I don't think that your boss is okay with you sending your drill hole data to OpenAI and then another user from another place, from another country, going to probably ask a question about that location and ChatGPT is going to spit out your data as an answer. So one solution to that, also I mentioned that in the previous video, that there is an option now that you can get your own large language model locally and use that locally in your own server or in your own personal computer, and you don't have to share your data with anyone else. So if this is something that seems to be interesting to you, make sure to watch the full video because we're going to cover that today. Okay, before we jump to the today's video, I just wanted to mention for everyone who's not subscribed, this channel is about geology, mining engineering, and geoscience in general, so make sure to subscribe. And if you are already a subscriber and you would like to have like exclusive content and VIP content and in-depth tutorials, make sure to join. There's a new button in the channel. It's the join button, which allows you to be a member of this channel and have access to exclusive content to members only. And that's also one way to support what I do. So with that being said, let's go and jump to the video. So some of you are already familiar with ChatGPT and have been using it for like some months now. And ChatGPT is basically a large language model that was trained on terabytes of text data. So ChatGPT is somehow what you see as information is basically there's an AI model is trying to guess what is the next word. It's trying to understand your question at first and then trying to guess like what is the word and then what is the next word and so on. It's very complicated, but what we know is just going to give us what we the answer that we want, and it works most of the time. So then the problem with this model, it's owned by OpenAI, which is a private company, and basically it uses what's called reinforcement learning. So if you're sharing data with ChatGPT, you're basically training their model at the same time, and you agreed to do that by just creating an account and using their services. So that's a problem for us, and we don't want to share sensitive data with another third-party company. So one solution to that is to use another large language model, and it needs to be open source. Luckily for us, Meta, which is the company behind Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp, and so on, released recently an open source large language model called, it's actually the second version of that model, it's called Llama 2. So Llama 2 is basically similar to ChatGPT or GPT 3.5 or GPT 4, but the good thing is that it is open source and you can install that in your own computer or your own server. Like you've been using ChatGPT, you noticed also that there's like the Model 3.5 and we have the Model 4, which is available only for the ChatGPT Plus users because it is more powerful. And you always hear that this one was trained on, I don't know, like few billions of parameters. This one have like 10 times that, like, I don't know, like 100 billion parameters. It's the same thing for Llama. We have like different models that one, we have like the 7 billion parameters model, which is like a smaller model that uh, probably cannot do everything for you. And we have like the 13 billion and all the way to like 70 billion model, which is like the biggest model and the most accurate one. So what I'm going to show you in this tutorial, you can use it for any of these models. So I'm gonna start with just the 7 billion model, which is the smallest one, but basically it's just changing this line of code. So instead of the 7B, you'll have like 70B. So you can just add a zero there and you're good to go. But the downside is for the 70 billion one, you'll need like a high-end computer or like a server to run that, because not just the size is big, but also you need like a really great graphic card to use that one. Also, what I'm going to show you is in Google Colab, because I have access to this free GPU. I'm going to be using the T4 GPU, but you can, if you have like a good graphic card, you can run this on your own machine. Okay? So let's get started. The first thing is we are going to install these dependencies. We're going to install the transformers. We're going to get back to this in a moment. What are the transformers? Torch is basically, this is PyTorch. It's a machine learning library. We need the IPY widget, which is basically for like Jupyter Notebook related stuff. And then all of these are basically dependencies for uh, they are dependencies required by the Llama 2 model. And then we have here the Hugging Space Hub, which means that we are going to use another website, which is the Hugging Face. So the Hugging Face, you can think of this one as it is a place where these companies that they release these open source models, they host them on Hugging Face. Hugging Face is going to create like a model card. That's what they call it, a model card. It's basically the name or like the ID of that model. If you want to access that model, you need to know what is the model card. In our case, for example, this is the model card for the uh, Llama 2 7 billion parameter model. So you can go and download that model from the Hugging Face directly, and uh, you will see also there's like a lot of different models for like different kind of applications. You have like, you can filter them by text to image models, you can do like image to text, text to video, and if you don't filter anything, you will see like the top ones in here, and you can see that the Llama model with the 7 billion parameters is ranking like the number 4, and we have like Stable Diffusion. This one is really well known model for like image generation. And if you are guys interested, I can show you how you can use that one to generate images for free. But this is not like something that most of you are interested in, especially that this channel is for mainly for geoscience, even though that what I'm sharing now is not like pure geoscience, but I know there's plenty of applications, like if you want to do like, if you want to summarize your reports, or if you want to do stuff like that. And even coding, there's a model like a Llama 2 model for like Python coding. It's specifically created for coding, so you can do that. You can also use that to help you with coding. Okay, so let's go and access the 7 billion one. You can see that I have this one. You have been granted access to this model. So the first thing that you'll need to do is you need to go to the Meta website, and you can just Google download Llama 2, and you'll have that appear in the first results. You can go and fill in your name, your email, and stuff like that, and you need to use the same email that you're using to create the Hugging Face account. And in a matter of like few seconds to few minutes, if you agree to their terms and service, you'll have access to this model. And now you can use the model card, which is this one. You can click on this one and copy it. And now you have the name or the model card. You can see the logo of Meta in here. So let's go to Colab, and the first thing we are going to run these and install these dependencies. It's going probably to take some time, but um, it should be quick for me, I think, because I've already installed most of these. So you can see that, yeah, by the way, by default, you will be not running the T4 card. So if you want to change to the T4 card, which is a free one, you can go to runtime and then change runtime type. And then you will be by default set to CPU. You need to change that to T4 GPU so that you will be able to um, use that graphic card. So, and if you've already done a few things, you need to go and restart this one. You need to go to like runtime and then restart runtime, or you can click on Control plus M. So while this one is running, there is another thing that you will need from Hugging Face, which is uh, the access token. So you need to go to your account on the Hugging Face, go to setting and stuff like that. And then in the access token here, this is basically the link. You can go to that link. If you go to access token, you'll need an access token. You can create one. You can go, let's say, new token, and we can call this like tutorial. Sorry, tutorial. And yeah, let's go red or whatever. So you can see that this one I can show. This is the token. I'm going to delete that, by the way. You cannot use that one. You need to create your own access token. And we'll need this in a moment so we can give um we can have access to the our account, and so that Hugging Face make sure that we have access to the model that you want to use. So all of these have been installed. So let's go and now do this one. So on your computer, you can run this from your CMD. So it's going to give you this one. The same thing, you need to paste your access token there and click on login. And you can see that the token is valid and I have permission to use this model. Then now we can import the transformers. Basically, most of these models are inside this transformer library. And if you import this model now with the tokenizer in here, it's going to download that model. And most of the time, it's like gigabytes of uh, the size is like few gigabytes. It could be like, I don't know, like 30 gigabytes or like 10 gigabytes. It really depends on the model. Like, for example, Meta have released this model that you can use for translation. So make sure to check the company page, like for Meta on the Hugging Face. They have plenty of useful models, and one of them is the Segment Anything model, I think, that I use to do the digitization algorithm. So I didn't like use it as it is. I did some modification to make it uh, do what I did with it. But it's really amazing model, and it does the job. So um, then we've got the tokenizer in here, and we give it access to the model. Basically, this one is you don't have to worry about these lines of code. You just copy them as they are. So this one is just telling it that check what is the graphic card and pick it automatically. If it's CPU, use the CPU. If it's GPU, use GPU. And this is basically with the we're using Torch here with PyTorch, which is for machine learning, and this one is basically using like half of the precision. So you can change this one, but you need to check what is the difference between this one and the other one. So I'm not like very familiar with why we use this one, because the the Llama 2 is like half of precision and we need to use this one, so we just used it as it is. And most of this one, all of this code, you can find it also um, on the model card, so there's a good documentation. And then basically what you need to worry about is like the prompt in here. So you need to pass in the prompt in here. So in my case, you can see, for example, I'm asking just a simple question because we have like the smallest model here, which is the 7 billion one. So I want to try with a simple question like, what is geology? And then basically this one is going to get like a sequence, like a list, and then it's going to print like that generated text. So I'm going to run this one, and it's going to take some time because it's going to download the model, and downloading the model, that's going to happen just once. But then whenever you run the script is going to check whether you have access to that model or not. If you have access, it's going to generate the results for you, and depending on your graphic cards, that's going to be either slow or fast. So you need to be patient. So let's go and run this one and check the results. So I'll leave it to run and get back to you once it is finished. Okay, so this one finished downloading, and right away after finishing this, I got the results. You can see how many gigabytes I've downloaded. This one is like 10 gigabytes plus like about 3.5, so you should know what to expect. But this one, remember, this is the 7 billion parameters. It's like in terms of size, this is like very small compared to like the 70 billion. So it's not just multiplying the size by 10, it could be more than that. So keep that in your mind. Okay, so you can see that we've got like some really good result here. So geology is the scientific study of Earth's physical structure, composition, and processes. And okay, a wide range of topics, including the formation. And yeah, that looks good. But what you'll notice here that the model was trying to generate more content, but it was like it stopped here. And the reason for that is that we set the maximum length to 200, so you can make this one like 1000 or whatever. That's going to be the limit of how much or how long is going to be the text. So this one also, you'll notice in the models you'll have like different kind of models. There's the instruct, so you have like the 7 billion instruct. That's basically you give it an instruction and it's going to respond to that one. And there's the chat, which is similar to like chat GPT. It's like back and forth conversation, so you can go and ask another question and it's going to reply to that one. So you have that chat um, thing. And yeah, so this was not, you know, very related to geoscience, I know, but I also know that since I'm using this one and it is useful for me, and I've used these models to like save me a lot of time for different stuff, so I wanted to share with you this this tutorial, guys. So I'm sure that some of you will find ways to use this one, and if you care about the data, this is I'm sure that this one is going to be very useful for you. And if you're part of a large company and they can, they have like good hardware and they can get the Llama 2 and a small server, or like a good workstation, that's something really good to have. And you will be able to use that one like with other automation tools. If you know Python, I'm sure there will be some cool ways to use that model to like automate stuff, like especially with reports and things like that. And if you watch this full video and you like this kind of content and you like this series so far about how to use AI and stuff like that, and coding in general applied to our industry, please leave a comment below. I would like to know if this is interesting for you or not, or should I just jump back to the classic tutorials, click here and click there. Please let me know what you guys want to see in this channel, and I will be more than happy to make more of these tutorial And with that being said, see you
Have to
on the
beg
next
or
video.
borrow or steal, 'cause he's the mining genius.